The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the producers and the individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff of the Sun Prairie Media Center, its members or underwriters, the board members of the Media Center Commission, Charter Communications, TDS Telecom, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and the man seated next to me has an impressive collection of those little Russian nesting dolls. You pull them apart, and there's another one inside. Mm-hmm. His name is Mike Roth.
I do, and I keep things in them.
Yeah?
Other nesting dolls.
Oh.
Yes. It's a lot of people just, they have air and stuff.
Yeah?
I keep
You don't waste any space in there.
I just, all nesting.
Man.
I am really white.
Mike's very white today. Mike's, yeah.
It happens around this time of year.
It's the winter time. You don't see a lot of sunlight.
I turn into a bike reflector. I really do.
Bike reflector. Oh, man. Well, Mike, this week we have one movie on the marquee. There's one movie that was released. Mm-hmm. But to make up for that, we are looking ahead at 2019 and trying to pick out the 10 movies for each of us that we are most looking forward to.
And crazy, I have one of the movies
Yeah.
from last year on this list.
I'll tell you what.
Crazy how that works.
So do I.
That is so weird.
Absolutely. Now, we also have this week the Oscar nominations were announced.
Yep.
And so in the next week or so, we'll be talking about our predictions and such.
I already have some complaints in my head.
Do you?
The Razzies.
Yeah?
The worst movie of the year wasn't listed as their top. I mean,
You didn't get,
Freed
wasn't
was
recognized?
mentioned in other things,
Yeah.
but it is the worst movie of the year.
Didn't get the recognition it deserves, huh?
No, because
Well, they got it here.
That was a steaming pile.
So in upcoming weeks, we'll be making our predictions and who we would give them to and who we think will be getting awards. Mm-hmm. But that's all coming in the future. Today, let's get started with what we have on the marquee, and the movie we have is Glass. M Night Shyamalan's film, the sequel that is 19 years in the making from Unbreakable, and then also split off, no pun intended, from the Split universe 2 years ago. Got everyone excited, like wow, we're getting Unbreakable 2-ish. And this movie, we bring back Bruce Willis as David Dunn. He is Mr. Unbreakable. Samuel L. Jackson as the titular Mr. Glass. James McAvoy is back as, well, I don't know what name you want to call him. Kevin, or the Horde, or the Beast.
We'll go with Kevin.
He's various things. He's got a lot of names. And the movie really, it opens up that we find out that David Dunn has been going out. They bring back Spencer Treat Clark as his son, Joseph. I haven't seen that kid acting since Unbreakable. I was like, hey, they got him. They brought him back out of retirement or
I
whatever.
think M. Night's like one of those guys that if you do a favor for him, he's really appreciative. He'll bring you back.
And so he's still out trying to, since the events of Split, David Dunn's out trying to find him in the way he knows how, going down to the rough neighborhoods, the rough districts, and just kind of bumping into people to get a feel for who the bad guy is. There's a great fight scene in the beginning where he does discover James McAvoy's character and the girls he's being held captive, and there's a fight scene in the realization between both of them that, I found my equal.
Yeah.
I can't just plow through this guy, for both of them. They're quickly captured by Sarah Paulson, though, and a bunch of police, we'll say. And she is a doctor who brings all three of these men into her psych ward that she has specially built for them with their weaknesses built in to their psych ward. Mr. Glass has been here for a long time. We're finding out probably 19 years he's been hanging out here.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
That's probably why things were a little quiet for a while in the universe.
And it's basically her trying to convince all of these superpowered beings that it's just in their head. You're not actually superpowered. It's just in your head, trying to convince them. We also have Anya Taylor-Joy back as Casey from Split, the girl from Split.
Yeah. They had the mom from Untouchable. They brought back some.
They brought back everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand the dynamic between Casey and James McAvoy's Kevin in this movie.
No.
It didn't feel real to me because basically the events of this movie take place not long after the events of Split,
Like a
where
week or
the
something.
Beast tried to kill her
Yeah.
and literally ate 2 of her best friends.
Yeah.
In this movie, she's kind of sympathetic towards him. You're not that bad of a guy.
Yeah, well, one of the personalities she got along with, but I did not get that feeling
Yeah.
that it could have been a friendship
Yeah.
at the end of Split.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's misunderstood. I can fix him. I can change him.
Yeah.
And then I mean, there's an ending and stuff that I don't want to get into because like all M Night Shyamalan movies, there's a big twist, there's a big reveal. I don't want to get into any of that, which is difficult.
It is.
We have to
because
dance around
I
that.
would like to talk about it so bad, but can't.
So for me, I have a few things about this movie. First off, I thought James McAvoy was amazing in this movie.
Again, yes.
They gave him even more characters. They give him like 20 characters now to bounce around with. And we actually see the Beast actually like talking and interacting and just the physicality that he brings to it is great.
And being able to flip from character to character to character so quickly, that is amazing. I feel like my score, which I'll of course reveal later, because that's what we do on this show, a lot of that is based on how these people act. I really like Bruce Willis doing his role again from Unbreakable. No?
I thought he was phoning it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
like there's one scene where his character has to like knock down a steel door, and he basically just kind of old man shuffles over to that door and leans into it, and then they show the other side, and the door's like crumpling. But it felt to me like Bruce Willis is like, "I'll give you this much, and that's it."
Really?
I was frustrated by him.
I was actually, I felt he portrayed his original.
I mean,
character
I like the David Dunn character.
Yeah.
I just wish he would have. It felt like he wasn't invested enough for me.
Okay.
And that kind of is echoes of this movie for me.
Samuel L. Jackson didn't have to do much acting at all.
Yeah, he didn't have to do a whole lot. Although we did get more of his backstory about him as a child.
True.
And so we got some of that. And there's so much to this movie. This movie is like 2 different things to me. Like, I like the idea of this, and I like most of this movie. I like when they're in here, and I like, you know, when the Beast is like, who's the guy? Who's that guy I just ran into that it was my equal? And they see each other for a split second in the hall, you know, across the hall. I like that. And I like the personalities coming out. Like all of these things. I like that we get the backstory to Mr. Glass. And
I felt like that was repetitive though, because I feel like there was exactly the same synopsis.
It kind of gave it a little more depth to him. But that ending, man. The ending that we can't really talk about was
horrific.
Not good.
No, it was not good.
It was very disappointing how M. Night Shyamalan decided to end this movie.
And that wasn't the only thing that was disappointing with it. I mean, once you had that terrible reveal, you figured, all right, wrap it up. But then it keeps going and going.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, that ending is bad, but maybe you just don't like it because we haven't talked about it enough. Let's talk about it more. And it just kept going and going and going. And another complaint I have about this movie, M. Night over-explains things.
He always does that. That's his Achilles heel as a writer.
Yeah.
Is he feels like he has to really explain it to the audience.
It makes me feel like he thinks we're all really, really stupid.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff is easy. It's very easy.
That's always been my complaint with him, is like he takes way too much time like spoon-feeding the audience when we don't need that.
Well, I didn't feel like with his best movies, he didn't do that. I didn't get that feeling in The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
And then when the reveal came, I was floored. I really was.
It feels like after he became the young genius filmmaker, then it felt to me like he took on I'm so brilliant. My ideas are so much higher than yours. I really have to, with The Village, I've got to really just dole this out to you because you're not going to get this.
Yeah.
There's a lot. The problem is, to me, like, I went into this movie, I'd spent 20 years watching the Unbreakable sequel in my head that I wanted. I've plotted out everything about that sequel since the day I walked out of the first movie.
Yeah.
This movie did not give me any of that I wanted. And so when I walked out of it, I was frustrated. Okay. And then I had to, like happens sometimes, I had to separate expectations from reality. What did I want? Okay, I have to get rid of that. I felt the same way with like The Last Jedi. Like, okay, it didn't go where I wanted to, but what do I actually think about where it did go?
Yeah.
And really judge it on that. And this movie is the same thing. Like, it didn't go where I wanted it to go.
No.
And I'm okay with parts of that, but I'm really not okay with other parts of it. And it really struggles in the final 20 minutes. I got really frustrated with the choices.
Yeah. I did not have any expectations. I really liked Unbreakable. I was fine with it being just the way it was. So going into this, I was just thinking, it's going to be interesting to see both these movies that I enjoy so much kind of meld together. That ending was horrible.
Yeah.
It was really
We can't
sloppy
get into it.
writing.
It really was
sloppy.
I was kind of furious about that.
And the way they reveal it too, it was dumb. I mean, it was sloppy. It was dumb.
Also, the lady who plays Samuel Jackson, Mr. Glass's mom, that old age makeup was awful.
Yeah.
That old age makeup looked like silly putty stuck on somebody. It looked like it was falling off of her face.
I'm also not a very big fan of Sarah Paulson.
I'm not either.
I do like the
I thought
American
her
Horror
character
series.
was just blah in this movie.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird movie. But what did you end up giving Glass?
I give it a 3, and I feel like that's actually pretty generous. It's because I love Unbreakable. I love Split. I loved James McAvoy's acting. That's where my 3 came from. But really, the writing on this is sloppy. It's slow-paced. Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled, man. I gave it a 3.5, and as we talk about it, I'm leaning the other way, down to a 3.
Yeah.
Because that ending is just, the more I think about it and the more I stew over it, the more I really don't like it.
It was 20 minutes, so they were just really saying, you are going to like this.
Yeah.
I did.
M Night, you missed on this, man.
Yeah. But I'm still going to give you a shot. Just don't make another Airbender.
Right.
Please, please.
So next up, we have our most anticipated movies of 2019, the movies that we are looking forward to. Some of these movies are, like, I have a couple movies on my list that I'm not even sure, like, what's going on with them. I just know a cast and a director. I'm like, no, I'm all for it. And some of these movies might be on our worst movies or most disappointing movies of the year list, like it happened this last year.
I'm thinking that my movie that I picked from last year that I was super hyped and now I'm still hyped about, it probably is going to just let me down.
You never know. So let's get into our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019. Mike, I want you to start us off with your number 10.
Next month, we were supposed to get Alita Battle Angel again. And I'm going to tell you, just in case you didn't watch our last year's show, I loved the anime when I was younger. It was great. It felt like it needed sequels, but it just ended. And when they said they were making a full-length movie, I was excited. The story was great. I like how this looks, but I have a feeling, a dark, terrible feeling, that maybe it's just someone who's really good at editing. Yeah. And they can just edit a great.
I've got a couple of those on my list as I get to them. But I'm afraid that it's a great trailer to a bad movie.
It's a really great trailer, and it's a great series from the '90s. Yeah. This might not pan out. It might be just
be great.
Could be great.
Who knows?
But I'm excited to see it. I really am.
That's right. My number 10 is a carryover from last year as well. My number 10 comes out March 29th from director Rupert Wyatt. It is Captive State. It stars Vera Farmiga and John Goodman. It's a movie that's set in Chicago, nearly a decade after an alien invasion and occupation, and it follows the people who both collaborated with the aliens and those who are resisting and fighting back against the aliens. And you and I have a common friend of ours who is an extra in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it afterwards, but he's an extra in this movie, so it makes it a little more fun, too, because I get to go try and see if my buddy Scotty's in this film.
Nice.
So, but I'm looking forward to it mostly, I mean, just the cast, the director, all that stuff. Another one that got pushed back from 2018 onto 2019. I'm hoping it's good. We'll see.
I'm kind of hoping that maybe they push it back that much because they know they have something special and they just want to polish it.
Sure.
That's not how it usually is.
We'll see about that. What's your number 9?
Number 9, Zombieland 2. This is something that people have been talking about forever, and it's finally coming out. We're getting the cast back. The first one.
Love it.
Fantastic zombie movie. With me, zombie movies tend to go correctly. You don't have to do much, and I still like them. And this one's hilarious. I don't think Bill Murray's going to be in this one.
I've heard he might be.
Really? As a zombie? You'd have to be a zombie.
Yeah, I've heard he might be, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah. My number 9 is the third movie in a trilogy. It is Keanu Reeves returning to just take out everyone. John Wick Chapter 3 comes out May 17th. We bring back the director from the original John Wick movie. And it's basically John Wick versus the world.
You know, I'm going to before I watch that, I'm going to watch the Artemis Hotel again,
Yeah.
and then watch all the.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like that one should belong.
It's in the same universe.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah, I'm really excited. The trailer just came out this week, and it got me very excited for it.
Pretty
So,
stoked.
There you go. That's my number 9. Your number 8.
My number 8, I wish it was a trilogy, but it's not. It's a reboot of Hellboy. Really would have loved to have that third Hellboy movie, but we're not going to get it. And this one looks like a really decent reboot. I can't really tell it's not Ron Perlman.
Yeah, David Harbour looks and sounds exactly like Ron Perlman in this.
Yeah, and I'm like looking forward to it. Hellboy is a great character. I think they're going to do it justice.
Yeah, I like both of those first Hellboy movies.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Too bad everybody else did.
I know. Everyone crapped on that second one. I liked it.
They soloed it.
Yeah, they did. That's a good point. Number 8, is that where we're at? Okay, my number 8 was originally Masters of the Universe, Mike. It's coming out later this
Really?
year.
I know, December.
But they still have yet to have a script or a cast. So I am dubious that movie's going to be coming out in December.
Yeah, that's they're a little late to the game.
If it were, I would be very excited, but I'm very doubtful that thing's going to make, because they haven't even written it yet.
Is it a remake of the original, you think? Because that was fantastic.
I hope so.
You can get Dolph back.
Yeah. Instead, my number 8 is a movie that is also coming out in December. It is Star Wars Episode 9. We finally get to wrap up all the questions that we've had about all these characters that I really enjoy. Rey and Kylo and just the Poe, the whole gang. I love them all, and I can't wait to watch the culmination of this new trilogy. So it is my number 8 movie.
Very cool.
Yes, sir. Your number is 7.
Not a remake of the Sinbad movie that we had in
No
the
movie.
Shazam. I'm really looking forward to it.
Mike, there's an exclamation point at the end of that. You have to say it right.
Shazam!
There you go.
There we go. It looks like a funny DC movie. DC doesn't do funny very often. They're trying a little harder. The trailers actually make this look like they might have gotten humor correct.
I think with Aquaman, they've been trying to infuse a little more lightheartedness. It doesn't always have to be dark and raining. And then this one just looks fun.
With Aquaman, I felt like it was mostly one-liners, like what Avengers try and
But
do.
they're
This
trying.
one, I feel like, is legitimate humor.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope with this, and then just the ones that they have coming out down the line, that they finally realize, like, it doesn't all have to be gloomy.
What worries me, and I know you liked Aquaman. I did not, and it did really well. So I'm thinking DC might think, oh, this is the kind of humor everybody wants, and I would really.
It's gotta be better than Zack Snyder, though. Just having a bunch of CGI characters in the dark and rain.
Yeah, well, everything's better than Zack Snyder.
Absolutely. My number 7 is also a superhero film.
Well, not Michael Bay, sorry.
That's right. April 26th, Avengers Endgame. I'm excited for this, man. Let's I can't wait to see the wrap-up of this story that we've been telling for so long. It'll be kind of the launching pad for the next iteration of this universe with the new heroes that are going forward. But I'm excited for it. The Russo brothers are in here. I loved Infinity War. And I'm ready to see it all come to an end.
I am looking forward to that as well. I'm looking also forward to them rewriting all of the last movie and just saying, fooled you, we didn't kill all these people.
Here's the thing. I mean, we just got the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie. That takes place after Endgame. So spoiler alert, Spider-Man's going to come back.
Really?
He's going to live.
Nice.
Shocker, they're not going to kill the cash cow. Who knew?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my number 7. Your number 6, sir.
I would be surprised if this is not on your list. Godzilla, the new Godzilla movie.
Oh, that looks
King
good.
of Monsters. We get 7 from Stranger Things in there instead of Bryan Cranston. 11, yeah. I knew it was a number.
It was a number.
And it looks like the same kind of fun, same kind of feeling of the first Godzilla movie, which I absolutely loved. And I believe this is also the launching pad of eventually a Godzilla King Kong movie.
Right. I mean, because we saw the seeds of this at the end of Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
And that was a great movie.
That was.
Great movie. If this is anywhere near as good as Kong Skull Island was, I'm excited. It looks great. And Millie Bobby Brown, 11, I love her as an actress, and we really haven't seen her outside of that role. And she doesn't really talk a lot in that role. So I'm excited to see her do something else.
I kind of felt that way with the first Godzilla when he had Bryan Cranston, who just came off of doing Breaking Bad, and you wanted to see more.
6 minutes of screen time.
Yep. Yeah, that was disappointing.
It was. My number 6 is a film that comes out soon, March 22nd. The new film written and directed by Jordan Peele. It's Us. Oh, brother, this movie. First off, I like
Creeps
that Winston Duke is the lead in this because I really loved him in Black Panther.
Yep.
I liked him a lot. We got Lupita Nyong'o, who's amazing. And this trailer gets me. This trailer creeps me out every time I see it. I don't feel comfortable in it. It's this family that goes to a beach. It seems like, oh, okay, this is kind of nice. They run into another family that bears an eerie resemblance to them.
Yeah.
And then it's just creepy. And Jordan Peele's visual aesthetic, it gets me.
I completely agree.
Coming off of Get Out and into this.
He does a great job at making things creepy. I have things stuck in my head from Get Out that will never leave. This trailer has things in my head that will never leave. It creeps me out, and I know that it's also going to be funny because that's what the last one was.
Absolutely. Your number 5.
My number 5 is Star Wars because Star Wars is great.
Star Wars.
We don't have to. I don't have to re-explain everything. It's Star Wars. Star Wars is awesome. It's the best universe
for Star Wars?
ever. Better than ours.
It's so far away, though, Mike.
It is. It
and
is.
so long ago.
It was. I don't even know.
How can we not know what happened? It happened a long time ago. Man, I don't know. I don't know how we don't have spoilers yet. My number 5 is another movie that returns from my list last year. Last year, I wasn't sure if it was coming out. It's most definitely still doesn't have a release date, though.
Yeah.
So it might not come out this year either. But it is The Irishman, Martin Scorsese's new film. It's going to be on Netflix. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Jesse Plemons, Harvey Keitel. It takes place around the events of Jimmy Hoffa's death and the people who are involved in it. It's on Netflix. I like that. I just want it to come out. I mean, they're bringing Joe Pesci out of retirement. That guy hasn't done anything since like 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag.
And we know since they won't take Sherlock Holmes, you know, Netflix is not going to be like one of those places where bad movies go to.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, they might win an Oscar this year with Roma, so you never know.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah, so that's my number 5, The Irishman.
4.
That's the next one.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a new Quentin Tarantino movie. It's rare. I find one that I just don't really care for.
Yeah. At his worst, he's still really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, why wouldn't I look forward to this? It's Quentin Tarantino. They expect a lot of dialogue, a lot of swearing, and a lot of gore.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. My number 4 is a film that comes out May 24th. It is written by Mark and Brian Gunn, who are related to James Gunn, who is producing this movie. It's a film called Brightburn. And Brightburn, the trailer, it looks like a Superman movie.
It does.
It's all Superman. Kid comes from another planet, lands in a cornfield, parents raise him, he's got superpowers, and then it turns on its head. Wait a minute, what if he's here not to save us, but to hurt us? What if he's an evil Superman? Now this movie, for me, this has the highest risk of being a real stinker, because this could just be a really good trailer. And a really bad movie because the director, what's his name? David
Michael Bay.
David Yorovesky. Not really done anything. The Gunn cousins have never really done anything. They're just related to James Gunn.
Okay.
It looks like a cool trailer and a cool premise, but there's a very real chance at the end of the year I'm going, boy, that missed. But I'm excited for it nonetheless.
I think it's people are wanting to do more with that comic book feel than what they're already doing. DC tried doing dark, but. And now I think they're trying to get into horror a little bit.
Yeah.
And that would be interesting to see if this is going to be like the new comic book horror.
I'm hopeful. Anyways, your number 3, sir.
Us.
Yeah.
We already talked about Us. We like Us.
I like Us. I cannot wait for that. My number 3 is a film that comes out November 27th. It's called Knives Out. It's written and directed by Rian Johnson, who I love. I mean, he directed Brick, which is one of my favorite movies ever. Did The Last Jedi. It's got Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, who's just, I love him, Christopher Plummer, Lakeith Stanfield, Don Johnson. Plot, currently unknown.
Don Johnson?
Yeah, the Don Johnson, Sonny Crockett.
Wow.
The plot is unknown right now. All we know is it's described as a modern murder mystery in a classic whodunit style. And I love Rian Johnson. I don't always love his movies, but I do love that he's willing to take risks. And it doesn't always work, but sometimes it is, and he makes things his own. He did it with Last Jedi, and got petitions against him because of it. But
we've been burned on murder mysteries lately. I'm really hoping that this one's good.
I'm really hopeful just for the cast.
Murders, remember that? That was awesome.
I remember that one, absolutely. So that's my number 3, Knives Out. Your number 2.
My number 2, It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. We have Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers, Expect to Cry.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I love the documentary. It was one of my top 10 of last year's. And then we get this movie.
Look at him.
Tom Hanks he's great in everything. Can you think of something that he's done where you're just like, I don't like that?
I didn't like him in that Circle movie with Emma Watson, where he played Steve Jobs-ish.
Yeah, okay, that's the only thing. Yeah. But
everyone's got one moment.
You're the villain, but everybody loves you.
Tom Hanks, can't make him hate you too much. Yeah, that looks great. I'm really excited for that one. My number 2 is a film called The Dead Don't Die. It's a comedy horror film from Jim Jarmusch. Jim Jarmusch is a great director. Absolutely love him. But here we go. This cast, sir. We got Bill Murray. We got Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton, Steve Buscemi, Tom Waits. I love Jim Jarmusch. Like, he directed Patterson a couple years ago. I think it's a modern masterpiece, and he had Adam Driver in that. His strength is in his writing and portraying this weird tone and this just mood for his films, and I think this is going to be great. Just based on the cast and the filmmaker, that's all I need. There's no other real information about it, but all that together. I mean, it's Bill Murray, Adam Driver, and Steve Buscemi. Let me see that movie.
I kind of feel that way about my number 1.
Yeah? What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Dumbo. Okay, for one thing, I really like Tim Burton. Another thing, this is kind of reprising the cast of Batman 2. We have Danny DeVito back. We have, Batman, Keaton back.
Yep, Michael Keaton.
We have the director.
Yeah.
And also all these Disney movies where they bring back an old classic and then try to spin it, they've been doing really well for me. And to have the cast, the director, and Disney all doing this, I'm excited. I really am.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Disney movies coming out this year.
Yeah.
Several. My number 1 is one that you...
They own everything,
yeah,
so
They really do. Half this list is Disney stuff.
It is.
My number 1 is one that you talked about, August 9th, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, it's written and directed by Tarantino. Let me talk about this cast, though, because this takes place 1969, the summer of the Manson murders. Everything's going on. Margot Robbie's in this. She plays Sharon Tate. You have Kurt Russell, Leonardo DiCaprio in a Tarantino movie. I like that. Brad Pitt, Al Pacino, Dakota Fanning, Timothy Olyphant, and then, like Tarantino always does, he always pulls some like guys you forgot about. Yeah. Luke Perry, Martin Kove. Who's Martin Kove? That's Sensei Kreese from the Karate Kid movies.
Nice.
Harley Quinn Smith, Kevin Smith's daughter. Like, it's just a weird, eclectic cast, and it's got all kinds of weird things going on in here.
You know, I can't see him pulling Luke Perry. It's not old
enough.
Got
Luke Perry in here.
Or, that's interesting.
I love it. He also brought Robert Richardson as a cinematographer who's done all of his recent movies that are just beautiful. Hateful Eight, these beautiful movies.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. Like I said, at his worst, he's above average, right?
Yeah.
So that's our movies. That's the most anticipated. Look for these.
Where are we going to see these movies?
You know what? I'm going to see them at our sponsor, The Palace Cinema, right here in Sun Prairie. Marcus Theaters, thank you for sponsoring this show and showing us all these movies. I'm very excited to sit in a Dream Lounger and check out all these flicks. Hopefully they're all big winners for us. Next week, yes, coming soon, February 1st, sorry. Got my date wrong. February 1st, sir, we have 3 movies on the marquee that week. Miss Bala, which is a action flick. Gina Rodriguez is out there killing a bunch of people.
I'm actually kind of excited about this. I see Gina and I think her mom. They just sound alike. They're doing the same thing.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that. Then Came You, which is a rom-com starring Nina Dobrev and Asa Butterfield. Don't know a whole lot about that one.
I don't want to.
And then Arctic. Mads Mikkelsen crashes a plane on a mountain, and he's got to decide whether he wants to try and stay there and wait for help or go out on his own.
Once or twice a year we have this movie.
I hope there's not a mountain between him and somebody else.
No,
because I don't want that for sure. So anyways, those are the movies that will be coming out the weekend of February 1st. Next week, you and I have a few films we'll be talking about. The Boy Who Would Be King. I know you're excited about that. That almost made your list. Serenity. Not the TV show,
which
but
is a shame.
Instead, Matthew McConaughey in a thriller, and Stan and Ollie finally coming around this area. I'm hoping we can check that out.
Yeah.
So those are the movies we'll be talking about next week. Man, I look at this list. There's so many other movies I wanted to put on here. There's a lot of good movies.
There's
coming out
a
this
lot
year.
of good movies coming out.
I'm hopeful, very hopeful for this year.
we just combine our list.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah,
it's
one
all
big
together.
list, big master list. Anyways, next week we will be talking about all of these films and so much more. Please come back and join us then. But until we meet again, I'm Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.